Welcome back to the Renatus J.A.M. My name is Jay Stark.
And I'm Matt Snyder.
And we are coming to you with the best, the latest, the greatest in dad jokes.
Tell us. Do tell. I love dad jokes.
You want to hear some dad jokes?
Yes.
All right. This is a good one. You ready for everybody at home? Brace yourself. This may be so funny that you fall out of your chair.
Yeah, sit down, ladies and gentlemen. Tell us.
Funny. My dog used to chase a lot of people on a bike.
Uh-huh.
It got so bad I had to take his bike away.
Ah! I like it. Aaron didn't laugh.
He didn't. That was mean.
Oh, there we go.
Very lighthearted laugh.
There we go.
Okay. Let's try
I
this
like that one.
Here, let's see if we can make Aaron laugh on this one.
I really like that one.
I ate a clock yesterday. It was very time consuming.
I don't get it.
I like that a lot. That was a very good one.
Okay, last one. If I can't get him
Last one. All right.
He already started laughing.
He left before the joke.
Right?
That is not your cue.
Isn't that how you do it?
That's
Don't you
not
laugh
how
before
it
the
works.
jokes?
Laugh first and then tell the joke.
Okay. All right. I don't know how these things work
All right,
anymore.
here you go, Matthew. Keep a straight face on me. You ready?
All right, I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Two dyslexics walk into a bra.
We're going to have to cut that one out.
Wait a second. Should it be bar?
Yes. Yes.
I think you got the joke
got it wrong.
backwards. Jay. Best
really
podcast
laughing.
ever.
Oh, man.
Yes.
All right. So,
Anyways.
back to the Renatus Jam, bringing you the latest and greatest. Today we are coming to you live with none other than the unicorn of Renatus, Miss Krissee Sorensen.
Howdy.
Krissee.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Hey, why are you a unicorn?
That's a long story. Probably a story that Jay could probably tell better than I could because I
Somewhat.
wasn't.
No.
I wasn't present at the time that all the awesomeness was going on. But
Huh.
Well,
I
you-
was.
Yeah?
So I can only tell this story from a third-person perspective. I can't quite do it justice.
Okay.
But I do know that Todd, when he created the job posting for our QA director, I guess, is that you, director of
Director
QA?
of Quality Assurance.
Yes,
Quality
that
assurance.
is her
Thank
title.
you. I didn't know what QA stand. I was question and answer,
Yeah.
right? Because I just asked all
Question
the
and answer.
questions.
Direct all your questions to Krissee.
Right.
There you go. So when he created a list of all of the requirements, and then he created like a wish list on top of that of everything that he would really want in the perfect unattainable person.
A guy can wish.
A guy can wish.
Yep.
And when you actually applied, and he thought to himself, is this the Krissee Sorensen I know from previous work experience? And so he actually reached out to you directly, and when he realized that you were the person he thought you were, then all of a sudden he was like, she's the unicorn. She's the unattainable, unachievable, unbelievable. I feel like I'm doing a commercial for you here now. Feel free to use that anytime you want. But that you had all of the qualifications he not only required, but all the qualifications that he had hoped for all in one.
Yeah, that's incredible. I didn't actually know that part of the story. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's why she's the unicorn.
Well, I just always saw a unicorn in her office, and so I didn't know the background to it. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where the unicorn comes from. So tell your title is the Director of Quality Assurance.
Yep.
What are some of the things that are in your wheelhouse? What are some of the responsibilities you have here at the corporate office?
Well, I like to make sure that everything that comes out of the corporate office has a second pair of eyes. So that's probably the biggest part. Not necessarily it doesn't necessarily have to be my eyes, but as long as it's a second pair of eyes that we kind of get, make sure that everything looks good and has good quality before it goes out. And that's a little bit hit and miss, but we do the best that we can. And things have improved greatly. And so, we really like the way that that's going.
You mean we got it wrong the first time?
I'll never forget when I got a call one time about an email I had written where I spelled the word education wrong.
Ooh, that's rough when the services you provide are educational.
Thank you for rubbing salt into that wound like I didn't already know.
No, but I think, we do a really good job here at Renatus. The content that we churn out is authentic, and it's, it has a really great author voice, which I love. And, it's not it's not super formal. It's something that people can relate to, which is really great. And, people get excited and typos happen and,
Sure.
and that's totally, that's authentic too, which I think is okay. So, yep. So there's that part, but there's also, as we develop new features, as we have been developing Helios, and then the additional fun little, doodads that go on top of Helios, gathering the requirements for those and then making sure that those requirements are met, is also a big part of my job.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when we were sitting in one of our meetings, and as we were going around the table, your name was probably said 50 or 60 times in one. I was working with Krissee. I was talking with Krissee. Krissee and I were looking at this.
Yep. Yeah.
So it seems like you kind of have your finger on the pulse of just about all big projects that are happening right now in Renatus.
That's fun. I do get pretty nosy, so.
Good. It's her job as the question and answerer.
Right?
Question and
Yes.
answer, head question and answer.
Right.
I never really considered you nosy. That's funny. All right.
And I can't keep secrets either, so just know that. I mean, you tell me it's a secret, I'll keep it, but if you don't tell me it's a secret,
Then everybody
yeah,
gets
no,
to know.
Seriously. So something that happened over last weekend, we took my son to the fair. And I love my son. He's like so very sweet and he has a huge heart. And I doing the mom thing, folding laundry, I accidentally put a plain white t-shirt into his laundry that had his sister's name on the back of it. Long story short, she needed a shirt with her name on the back of it. We wrote her name on the back. It ended up, he wore it to the fair, my poor darling child who's 15, and you know how tender they are. And,
Oh, yeah.
I had to tell him, I told my husband, I'm like, we're going to take this to our graves. He cannot know that he is wearing this shirt. And then like 5 minutes later, I'm like, Hayden, I got to help you. So yeah, I can't keep a secret to save my life.
That's when you just turn the shirt inside out, right? I mean, just
It's white,
Oh yeah, I
You
mean,
just scribble it out.
right? Yeah, no, he looked like he was his sister's biggest fan, so it's totally okay.
there you go.
Right.
That's a thing, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
People do that with tattoos all the time, right? Like when they get somebody's and somebody they're dating, and then they change who they're dating, and then they got to figure out how to.
I just realized we need to create Renatus T-shirts that have Krissee's name on the back of them.
There you go.
That would be awesome.
I really would.
Yeah.
That would really be. I would wear that shirt.
The question is though, do you spell it right or do you spell it wrong? Because like
Like
that
it wasn't quality question and answered.
Question
Right?
answered.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, because no one really knows how to spell my name unless I tell them.
Right.
So you go to Starbucks or anywhere, you tell them your name, they always get it wrong, but that's part of the experience, right?
How many times have you got Christie, like CHRISTIE, right?
Probably more than I can count.
Yeah. I just know, like,
So
going to Starbucks, that has to be
for all
a
of our
common
viewers
occurrence.
at home, Krissee actually has a $sign in her name. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. She doesn't have a $sign. She does have a pound sign, but not a $sign.
Yeah, no. In her
Okay.
rap name,
In her rap,
Yes.
there you go.
it's Chris $, EE,
There you go.
the rapper.
The rapper. Okay. Formerly known as the Unicorn.
Formerly
Yeah.
yes, the artist, formerly.
There you go. There you go.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about some of your background.
Yeah.
You know, Todd was looking for that whole list of requirements. What were some of those?
Yeah, so actually I started off my career as a nurse, which doesn't help me a ton here, but
Hey, we had that one time where it did.
yeah, that's true. We have had that one time. But
There was the one time.
right. But as I was working I finished school with a bachelor's in computer science. So I was working as a nurse, finished up with a bachelor's of computer science. And then I started working for Intermountain Healthcare, which is a big, the big medical place to be
Here in
inside of Utah.
If you want to be somebody
Yeah.
in medical, you better be at
Absolutely.
Intermountain. Yeah.
Absolutely. Then Intermountain partnered with GE to form a company called Paradigm, which I moved to. And then they partnered with Microsoft. And then from there, that's when I came here.
Wait, so
So wait, wait, wait.
Microsoft owns IHC?
No. Microsoft owned Paradigm.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't mean to come
The
off quite as
conspiracies.
loud there.
Let's start. We're gonna start
So
one here.
How did you transition from nursing into QA?
So there's a lot of how do I even go to explain it? So when it comes to medical things. We were building a electronic health medical record for Intermountain Healthcare, and we needed a lot of those checks and balances. I was working with a lot of the clinical analysts in that department to make sure that the numbers we were using, we were testing, were valid, with their application. So that's kind of where it started. I was working in terminology as well, and along with the decision support team when it comes to terminology, and the clinical analysts and we were all just kind of working together. And then they opened up a quality assurance position that I just kind of transitioned into. So,
Wow, that seems like quite the segue, but I like it. It makes sense. It makes sense when you lay it out, but when you just say, "Oh yeah, I went from nursing to QA," it's like, wait, what?
We're grateful you're here.
Yeah, definitely. And you've been with Renatus now for how long?
Oh, has it been 5? I think it's been almost 5 years.
Wow, what?
Yeah.
How long have I been
I have to go
here?
back.
Hang on.
Like,
I got to think about that.
When did were you 2015 when you came on board?
Pretty sure it was 2015.
Yeah, that's when we moved into this building.
Yeah, it was.
2015.
Yeah, so you didn't start over in the other building?
No.
You started in this building?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But it was like March of 2015 we moved in here, right?
Yeah, February or March, something like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Time has
That's awesome.
flown.
It has.
You are so lucky to have gotten to work with me for that long.
Right?
It's incredible.
I
I
know.
mean, what do you do in your spare time thinking about how blessed you are working with Jay?
I know. It's all I can think about anymore.
Well, so speaking of that, so tell us a little bit about how Renatus and the education has affected you, changed your life personally.
Yeah. So I have an amazing husband, and he used to work at a steel plant here in Utah, and they were lifting tons and tons of steel over their head every day. So he was welding, and he was working on a production line, essentially. Really hard manual work, and he ended up tearing one of his shoulders. And he got a slap tear is what it's called. It's where it tears the labrum, kind of the socket that your shoulder joint goes into and gets torn. And unfortunately, every time you flex your bicep, it re-tears. So it's pretty brutal tear. Sorry, medical, it doesn't bother me, but it looks like it's bothering Jay.
Well, no, I'm just imagining the pain of what that would feel.
I'm fine over here, by the way.
Yeah.
You have a puke bucket, Aaron. Bucket now.
Yeah. So
No, I'm good. Yeah.
right. So he tore his shoulder, and then compensating for that torn shoulder, he actually tore the other shoulder.
Oh,
So
So what do you do? Just walk around like Gumby?
right. So
You can't like.
flex your bicep at all.
Yeah.
so
How do you get cereal out of the? I mean, how do you get your raw broccoli out of the pantry?
right? So disease process wise, for a younger person, an injury like that, if you don't move it a lot, it will heal itself. But unfortunately, because he was working production line
How do
all
you
the time,
not move like that?
right? You don't, unfortunately. And so he ended up having surgery to repair his injury on both of his shoulders, and that required they had to basically detach his bicep muscle and reattach it in another location so it wouldn't pull on that injury anymore.
Oh, man.
So, amazing guy, super strong, used to play baseball in high school, throws like a girl now, sad to say, right? So he ended up having to do something different. So we started flipping houses. So there are things.
It seems
that you
like it would
can
be
do.
harder to pick up a house than to throw a ball, but
Right?
it's just me. No,
Matthew, man, we got the dad jokes out of the way at the beginning
I
here.
can't. You got me on a roll, man. You can't stop. Sorry.
No, that's fine. So Renatus teaches you some amazing ways to get involved in flipping, even if you aren't wielding the hammer yourself. Although Eric does love that, so he does a lot of the work himself that he can. But yeah, that's actually helped us to make ends meet. In fact, to the point where we will hopefully be paying off our home in the next couple of years.
That's
that's
awesome.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
super exciting. Yep. So we started flipping. We're hoping to move transition into long-term holds and.
So, if you don't mind me asking, so the real estate has helped you guys get to a point where you're going to be able to pay off your house quickly in the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
have you guys used velocity banking at all in that? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
So the velocity banking aspect has been a big piece of that for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So we did velocity banking on our original home loan, and our HELOC is holding our house at the moment.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, and we used our equity to fund our first flip.
Right
And
on.
then we transferred that back into our HELOC again and used that to fund the second flip.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I actually didn't know. That wasn't like a bait question. I really was curious. So that's really cool.
Yeah. It's been a really fun ride. It's really exciting, and we wouldn't have had the opportunity to do what we've been able to do so far. So it's really empowering. It's great.
That's awesome. So, I mean, it was fortuitous. I mean, not fortuitous that he had hurt himself, but it was fortuitous that after he had hurt himself, that he had access to the education that would then empower him to go out and start being able to do this on his own without necessarily having to get another job.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So then,
Well, now I can tear my labrums. Now I know what to do and just flip houses.
and you too
Tear 'em.
can have your biceps moved around and yeah,
You know,
buddy.
that doesn't sound like a lot of fun. I might skip
Yeah,
that part of the process if that's okay with you guys.
If you can skip it, I would recommend.
Okay.
skipping
Nice.
it,
That's good.
Keep my biceps right where they are.
So then, you've been with Renatus for 5 years, which means that you've seen what have really been some of the biggest transitions that have come about since Renatus has been around. So what are some of the big transitions that you've seen here in the company?
Well, the building of a whole new side of the building, for starters. I mean, launching
yeah.
Helios has been huge. We've seen a lot of new staff come, and so that we can now support a bigger community, which is amazing. Watching the community itself grow has been huge, and because we get to go to nationals every year and meet these people, it's been really great to see the changes that Renatus makes, as a whole. So, yeah, I've seen a lot in 5 years.
Yeah.
It's been
No
great.
kidding.
So when was that moment? Can you pinpoint that moment? We talk about in Renatus, we talk about when the business goes from your head to your heart, right? Where it's not just something you understand now, it's something that you're passionate about. And can you pinpoint that moment and say, this is when I really felt connected to what Renatus is?
Oh gosh, so many different parts. Yeah, so many. I would say for me, it was listening to the education, because, so I'll explain a little bit what my why is. So my parents were divorced when I was about 12 and my mom left. And so it was just my dad taking care of me and my siblings. So there's a total of 5 of us. And we lost our home. So essentially we were homeless for several months while he decimated his 401k in legal fees, seeking custody and going through his divorce, and then trying to find a house for us. So never in my life did I think that history would repeat itself, but it did when I ended up going through my own divorce. And I decimated my own 401k, doing the best that I can to make sure that I'm in a good position with my children and that I have a roof over their head. And so knowing that I can use the education to build up a new retirement plan is huge for me.
Yeah.
Huge. So, and my dad just barely retired at 65 this year, and he worked really hard. He had to build back that 401k with his own bare hands, and so knowing that there is another better way to build up my retirement is so empowering. It's really great.
That is incredible. That's really neat. I mean, it seems like oftentimes there are 2 responses to hard circumstances. People either let that circumstance define them, or they use that as the why, their reason to do better or to do differently.
Yep.
And so that's really cool that you're looking back on that, not necessarily positively, but you've created positive from that.
Yeah. So my positive outlook, I think I owe entirely from my father, because he's a very pull yourself up by your bootstraps kind of person. And so that's kind of who I want to grow up to be.
Right on.
Yeah, and that's so much about what Renatus represents, is empowering the individual.
Yeah.
being accountable for who we are and how we create, and then going out there and doing it, being the change we wish to see in the world.
Yep.
So that's pretty awesome. I love when I talk with the corporate employees and I ask them all that question, because a lot of them are like, oh, well, it was the national conference or the first time that I met the community. Yours is a completely unique. We've never had anybody say that before. And so I love that response. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I know that I look forward every year at the national conference. I love hearing when you get up on stage. And I know that's your favorite thing, but I love some of the responses, some of the things that you talk about when you get on stage. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, so listen up, because next time it'll be a doozy, I'm sure.
So with the transitions that Renatus has gone through, where do you see Renatus going over the next couple of years?
Only up. That's all I can say. Only up from here. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit, because I know one of the responsibilities that you have is that you interface quite a bit with our entire IT organization, right? So we've got Todd here as the VP of IT, and then you kind of act as an interface with the rest of the corporate team, with the offshore team as well.
Mm-hmm.
How has that been, working with those with people that are different culture, different time zone, so much different background? How is that? Tell me a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, the culture is amazing. They are so extremely friendly. We have an amazing IT team offshore in India. They're so easy to work with. And the nice thing is that when the IT team here goes to bed, our India IT team is still up and working. So it's almost like we have 24-hour coverage when it comes to developing.
Kind of do. I mean, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. It's 24 hours a day, people.
Yeah, it's really great. They're super responsive, and the people that work in IT here in the States are super responsive as well. So when one of us can't answer a question, we can hunt down who can, which is, it's been really great. Really great.
That's awesome. And so how big is the team over in India, the offshore team?
Oh, goodness. It's growing. I wish I had the numbers, because I can't quite recall how many we have. Mm-hmm.
It's getting up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So we have a completely independent QA team. We have a completely independent dev team.
Okay.
And we have a separate project manager as well. So we coordinate all of the all of the builds when we have to do a release. Unfortunately, shut down Helios for a couple seconds and you see that great screen painted across. We're always coordinating with the QA team and with the dev team offshore. So they're spending extra time in the evening helping us out, or early in the morning helping us out. Gosh, I wish I had the numbers on how many, but off the top of my head, I believe I have at least 5 QA people, and then I think we have five different developers working. I might have those numbers a little bit off, because we're hiring new ones now too.
That's right. I think we're over 17.
I was gonna say I thought the number was about 20. So maybe I'm off a little bit. I thought it was around that. Anyways, so. And
I might just be talking about the ones that I communicate with personally. There are a few others that, and then of course there's Pradeep and Pavitra.
Yeah.
On the U.S. side.
And I'm talking about, I guess, U.S. and India, but I don't know. I don't really know.
All right.
I'm just here to,
Very good. You're the left turn, right?
Yes, to provide a left turn whenever we may or may not need one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So then, as far as your experience, though, the offshore team, they've been just on point as far as being up to date with the most current relevant technologies and being responsive to the requests that we make. They're always available and always doing a really great job.
Yeah, absolutely. And always willing to learn something new when we propose it as well, because they're really great with that too. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, I know that you have left a massive impact here with the corporate team, which a lot of people probably don't understand how that affects them out in the field. You're not necessarily one that we put on camera a lot, although we should, absolutely. But I just want to thank you for everything that you do, because I know that you hold together so many of the projects and you keep people on task and you keep people informed. And so on behalf of all those that don't necessarily recognize what you do, thank you.
Oh yeah, sure.
I second that.
Yeah,
Thrills.
working at Renatus has been one of my favorite things that
Yeah.
I've ever done. So, yeah, it's really great.
That's because you get to work with Matt.
I know, right?
Whatever. We're truly grateful to have you. Really. So, seriously, you do so much, and it is very much appreciated.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the Renatus Jam. Been awesome talking with you. We'll definitely have you back here sooner than later, I am sure. On behalf of myself and Matt, we want to thank our line producer, Mr. Aaron Peterson. Thank you, as always, for being on point. And this has been the Renatus Jam. Renatus rocks!